Hey everybody, welcome to another great episode of Zenny 62, another legendary Oaklander, Shaun Tai. He is the executive director of what was Oakland Digital and is now called Bridge Good. If you haven't been able to guess, by the way, I believe Mr. Tai is the man on the upper left hand.
I don't think people remember when there was a time that people did not know about tech or digital literacy. People did not know that these things could not stream video. And we've been holding it down for the Oakland digital side in terms of everything digital Oakland for so long.
And I want to appreciate what you guys are doing, your effort to educate people.
Really props to my mom, who is my everything, had Rosewood House at the corner of Broadway and 26. My dad opened that at Broadway and 2523 Broadway in 1969. So really my whole early childhood was going to my mom's store. My earliest memory was a photo in front of that store on Broadway. And my mom held that position as a small business owner, single mother, woman of color, for over 40 years. So, my mom was really the first person that said, "Hey, Shaun, I got my logo made at Kinko's in brush script, but she didn't have it vectorized, which means EPS AI format." So she had us vectorize it, my brother and I, shout out to my brother Wilson. And she's like, "Okay, what can I do with this digital format?" You can make flyers using Photoshop. You can create a website. At that point, it was HTML 0.0, honestly. And so we made a website, rosewoodhouse.com in the late 90s. That took off. My mom started getting clientele from digital formats. And then she said, "Shaun, what is this Facebook?" And we're talking 06, 07. And so really my mom was the seed of what we became Oakland Digital, is how do we connect designers? I went to state level schools, Cal State East Bay alum, San Jose State for my master's. I was always the kid to stay close to mom. So I helped my mom out with design and social media. Same thing as you, we're like mama boys and I'm proud of it. And that's really what helped me start Oakland Digital, was how do we take students like myself that are under-resourced, that have challenges in life, and then how do we help small businesses like my mom flourish in the digital economy? And really those two seeds, if you will, has rooted into now Bridge Good, where we mainly focus on helping students of color enter the world of design. And when we say design, what does that mean? User experience, user interface, visual design, because those are the jobs that are paying in tech. Now it's helping those students get jobs, because I think the digital divide is still there, but it wasn't what it was in 2013, 2012, 2011. Zenny, I remember, I think you might have reached out to me when we were doing those City Hall events, social media for small business. We started that. I think the first year we did that was 2011.
Yeah, because Libby and Michael Hunt didn't tell me.
Right. Well, the first mayor that I met up with was Ron Dellums. 2011, we introduced a thing called the hashtag. And I remember Jean Kwan going, "Shaun, I got to shout out Jean Kwan. She was a super great supporter of mine and one of my for sure." And she's like, "Do what you need to do here, because I think you're onto something too." And we taught the hashtag, and everyone in the crowd was like, "What is this thing?" Like, it kind of aggregates information into one area, and we were trying to explain it, but even myself, it was so new, right? That year, we also brought Yahoo to Oakland. In 2012, we brought Google to Oakland. Steve Grove and Mary Hemmencool, who now is Mary Grove, and they're married. Steve Grove did the first hangout with President Obama in the history, which was amazing. 2013, we brought Twitter to Oakland. And I was really proud because I was in my 20s and I was, bringing these big companies to Oakland to teach digital literacy. And I'm very proud of the work that we collectively did. It wasn't just me, it was all of us. And here we are today.
We intersected so many paths, and
people always go, "Shaun, you're the face of it." And you know what I tell them? I'm like, there are so many people, and I'm sure with your career too, we might be the face, but there are so many people behind the scenes.
Well,
What's crazy about the internet, the digital sphere, is that it takes innovators and leaders, and that's why this platform is so important. Is all these we're sharing.
We get this.
Right? Everything has a time. Everything has momentum. So the momentum's here now. I was at Stanford, and this is connecting to Oakland, but I was at Stanford, and I'm with Ray Love on behalf of Pushing the Bay TV, my YouTube channel at the time, and up on stage is Quincy Jones III, Mr. Fab, Chameleonaire, and Hammer Time, MC Hammer. And they're talking about this brand new platform. And they're talking about it, and they're like, okay, it's this thing that's coming out, and you can type and you let them know what you're doing at any moment, but it's under 140 characters. It's this thing called Twitter. And everyone in the crowd at Stanford's like what's the value of this? And that's actually how I discovered MC Hammer, and he became my friend. A shout out to Hammer, who's not just my friend, but a mentor, hero to me. But from that meeting, I went up to him at the end and I said, yo, I'm a fan. My first cassette tape was, my mom bought that for me, was Hammer, don't hurt him, please don't hurt him. Can I just get in touch with you? He's like, yo, tweet me. And from there, we started becoming friends on Twitter. And even to this day, he's supportive at least multiple times a year, coming out supporting.
What year was that?
That was 2005, 2006.
Wow.
I grew up on Bay Area hip hop. So Too Short in Oakland, Master P in Richmond, Ray Love in Santa Rosa, Mac Mall and Mac Dre in Vallejo. So I'm a RBL Posse in San Francisco. So I'm like a Bay Area cat. But we have a phrase in the hip hop industry, the rap game, that's like, people come to the Bay, they steal our game and they leave. And I still believe that for tech. I believe that for ideas. I would like to twist that and be like, borrow our ideas, but just give us credit. I believe in content creation as much as you do, and I think that's what legacy is. One very cool feature on Facebook is the legacy feature, which means when you die, you have someone that takes over your presence. I believe the future of social is that. It's the legacy idea of who takes over your digital assets. And in fact, I'll go a step further. I think that's the future, because now they're having holograms of MJ, holograms of Tupac. Digital asset is still a part of that. So you still hear Bruce Lee tweeting right now, right? So I still think that's an unexplored area for anyone that wants to do a startup. I think that's a huge area that hasn't been tapped yet.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Jim Kelly, Enter the Dragon, and John Saxon, the Dragon. I've interviewed Jim Kelly 3 times.
Wow.
I found out that Jim Kelly died in a very weird way, which goes to your interest in legacy content. Someone on Twitter tagged my Twitter account and said, great interview with Jim Kelly.
Right.
Jim Kelly, hashtag Jim Kelly, rest in peace.
Yeah. That's
how I found out he died.
Wow. Wow.
What do I do with that knowledge? In other words, what do I do with, do I make a memorial? Maybe I should. I hadn't thought about that until just right now because of what you said.
I appreciate it. I know it's deep. Here's the thing, Zenny. No one's going to do it for us. That's the sad truth. So, when I looked at your YouTube, you have 70 million views, and you said, how many videos do you have up there? 16,000?
Oh, almost 17,000. Yeah.
That's legacy, because one day, when maybe both of us are gone, someone's going to look through that. But for the people that never created content, what happens?
Right.
Because we don't think about these things until they're not here. And if they're, like you say, a press of a button, something like that can aggregate all of this, I think that'd be an amazing product, which goes to kind of bridge good and design social good. We have our hashtag Design for Social Good, and it's all about how do we teach young people to design for social good. We really believe when you're helping young people of color, the products will become more relevant to the world. Because if you just have, let's be honest, white engineers and white designers, you're going to get that type of product. Yep. But if you have voices and the rich diversity of our community building these products, that's when we can come up with cool things like what we're just talking about. So it's funny because everything we're talking about hasn't been created, but we'll find that creator to do that. It's deep because, you know, my mom always said that, you know, my two sons don't care about money. And I think the world would be a better place if they understood that impact is so much more than money. And I'll leave it at that.
Hey man, the Lord has blessed me for having met you in this way, because we would be weaker without you. Make that absolutely clear. We'd be far weaker without this man. So this is Mr. Oakland.